the future.
The team at Better Together Cubed is all educators. We come from all different walks of life, but our common thread is that we've all been educators. And what we know to be true is that teachers and leaders can't take on one more thing. So we've designed a custom-made, state-of-the-art digital platform. After COVID, what we discovered is that teachers needed things to be digital. They really wanted access to everything on their computer. And so we've designed all of our curriculum on a digital platform. Everything's in one place. The educator wellness assessment, the educator wellness modules, there's 10 of them, all of the student programming, the assessment link, the reports from the assessments, all lives in one place. Simple login, and so there's no hauling manuals home and materials home. In addition, the lessons were designed for ease. It's simple one-step, two-step, three-step lessons, teacher-facing materials that are really about how to facilitate a conversation in your classroom, how to provide a strategy or a tool, very little planning. It's been really received well because of the ease. The design allows for teachers to have autonomy to make their own choices while giving them a framework if they need more guidance. Even within the design, it's differentiated for those that feel comfortable with SEL and talking about emotions, giving language to kids, and those that are like, I'm not so sure about this. I don't feel that comfortable. One of the reasons that our program is built on the foundation of educators' wellness first is because we know that when teachers and building leaders experience something and have strategies and skills for themselves, they will see the importance of bringing it to their students. And so buy-in isn't that hard because we've provided a way for adult communities to come together, reconnect, build trust, create safety to talk about things outside of school, and then reflect on what would happen if we could do that with our students. And because our adult wellness modules are closely aligned to the student activities, it's seamless. And so we're building leaders through the experiences that they have in their professional learning, and we're providing strategies and tools for them that they can take with them in school and in their personal lives.
Everyone, welcome to this webinar of Better Together Cube. This webinar is hosted by India Market Entry. I'm Dheeraj Sakru. I am the CEO and founder of India Market Entry. Today we are representing Better Together Cube as a program for social emotional learning. And we are going to talk about something very critical that we are facing at our schools today. And here we have experts joining in right from US who's going to address some of the issues that we are facing and how do we tackle them. To begin the webinar, would love to understand who you are from, who are you, where are you from in the country? I know everybody from all parts of the country are here. What is your role and which institution do you represent, so that it would be a communication which we know who we are talking to. So it'll be great for us to know that and we can have an interacting discussion. For the first 30 minutes of the webinar, we have planned to have a presentation, and also our host here as well as our guest, Pam, who's going to be giving some tips and tricks on how to manage behavioral issues in your school, is going to talk about what are the things that you should do and what are the things that you shouldn't do in a school in the classroom situation. What is the culture you need to create? So it would be great if you can put in the chat your name, your location, the city where you're coming from, what is your role and the organization name for us to really know who you are so that it can be an interactive conversation. We will give time for Q&A. So we will give enough time for Q&A. Meanwhile, you can also put in all your questions in the chat and we will address those questions when we get there. Particular webinar is on reducing discipline issues and how do we create a positive school culture. We must first look at what are the key challenges that a school today faces in India. We have identified these from our research and discussions with senior professionals like you from the education sector, from schools, from various institutions across the country. And these are the 5 key critical elements that we have observed. There has been a huge increase in behavioral issues in the last decade or so, and 62% of the Indian teachers have reported frequent behavioral challenges that they have to address in every classroom. Elevated stress and anxiety levels as we keep preparing students for board exams, especially in the 10th grade and the 12th grade. We have seen 15% of children in that target group, which is 13 to 17 years of age, suffer from anxiety and depression. Poor academic performance when there is no social emotional component implemented in a school has been observed. And when there is an SCL component that has been intervention that has been taken place, there is at least 11% improvement. Children find it difficult building positive relationships, right? Bullying incidents have increased in schools. We have observed that the schools that have not implemented SCL correctly, they see a lot of these instances. Emotional resilience is also missing in most of the children in such schools that have not implemented. And this is based in research reports that have been published by, one of the report is International Journal of Indian Psychology, National Mental Health Survey that happened by UNESCO, and Learning Policy Institute. This is not what we are saying. This is what all of the institutions that are saying and what we have also observed. What is the present landscape? What are the schools doing today? There are 2 ways we have seen schools that are conscious about this. They are approaching it in 2 different ways. One we call as a bandage approach and the other we call as a vaccine approach, because we have spoken to thousands of schools and we have realized that the bandage approach is typically you hire a counselor who comes monthly or quarterly visits, understands there are some problems, gives the possible solution, and the teachers are again left to their own devices. The staff is left to their own devices with those kids. So this is when you have identified problem cases. And then there are schools who are approaching it holistically, which we call as a vaccine approach, where they are implementing curriculum which like IB or other international curriculums that already have SCL elements embedded in it. Then there is another approach that we can take, is that an entire SCL curriculum that can be embedded into any curriculum, any school, any type of context across the country. That is where Better Together Cube like solutions come into picture. And that is what we are talking about today. To understand Better Together Cube's efficacy and the proven outcomes, we need to also understand about CASEL. What is CASEL? CASEL is a collaborative for academic, social, and emotional learning. This was founded in 1994 by school leaders from all across the world. Education sector stalwarts came together to create a framework, to create a program or to evaluate programs on social emotional learning that are founded in academic principles. So this would definitely make sure that you would help the students to elevate their performance, their behavioral issues are gone. So this has been observed since 1994, and CASEL has been working, striving to excellence for last 30 years. How are they doing that? So this is an independent non-for-profit entity that evaluates programs all over the world that have been implemented in schools across geographies, across continents. They provide 3 levels of certification to any program that has been implemented in any academic context in K to 12 schools. Number one is the CASEL SELect certification. This is the highest level of recognition for evidence-based high quality SCL programs. The criteria to meet within the programs that get this certification, they have to demonstrate significant impact on academic, behavioral, and emotional outcomes. And this is done through rigorous evaluation, continuous evaluation over a period of time. Number two, CASEL supportive certification. This is awarded to programs that are closely aligned with the CASEL framework, the framework that has been developed over a period of time and has been proven to work. The criteria are pretty simple. These are promising initial results, but require further evidence for select level certification. And then as CASEL aligned recognition, which is it recognizes that this program addresses specific SCL competencies, not the entirety of the framework, but some parts of it. So there is partial alignment with CASEL standards. Now the question is, where does BT3 stand in this levels of certification? BT3 is a full CASEL Select certified program. It has a proven efficacy, proven solution to work. The educational context, the school context of it has been evaluated by CASEL and has been awarded as a CASEL Select certified program. What does this program do? What is the framework that CASEL provides? So these are the 5 key elements of an individual. I mean, is for everybody, adults, kids, everyone. But these are the 5 components on which the CASEL framework as well as the BT3 program is aligned on. That is self-awareness, where they're understanding their own emotions and they are able to influence their own behavior. Self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. I'm sure you as educators would agree that these are the key skills that all kids across geographies need to be a global competent human, individual, contributor, right? Now coming to our guest speaker is Pam Mejia, who's the founder of Better Together Cube and a renowned expert on social emotional learning. Pam is a certified social emotional intelligence coach with advanced degrees in curriculum development and educational leadership, with certifications in diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as psychological safety in the workplace. She empowers schools globally to adapt the CASEL aligned SCL practices and enhancing the well being of educators, students, and family thereby. Pam, I would like to introduce yourself and take it from here.
Um, where to begin? First, thank you for the hard work you do. I know that the load you carry is heavy. I know that every day is a challenge. Children and adults have a lot of big emotions to work through, and often you are probably the doormat for some of that offloading of not having the skills and strategies. So thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit more about behavior. What I'd like to do is just talk a little bit about why both student and adult behaviors happen, and then share some lessons or some activities that you can do immediately in your schools, or concepts that you can noodle on in order to integrate some skills and strategies into your current structures and priorities. So I want to start with what we know about behavior issues is that students, when they demonstrate behaviors, are seeking something. They're either seeking connection or they're seeking safety, whether that's physical safety or psychological safety. And if you think of it in terms of a cry for help and not having the language to express what they need. And so oftentimes the behaviors that we see in classrooms are an inability to self-regulate on their own, maybe an unawareness of what the big feelings really are, or a lack of tools to manage the frustrations or the complex decisions that they need to make. And so we as educators we get to see it all and we have to deal with it in our classrooms. So I'm going to share my screen and share the platform, the BT3 platform for you. Okay. So just give me a minute. Can you see that? We're good. So this is our dashboard, and I'm not going to talk about all of it, but I do want to give you kind of an overview before we dig into some specific activities. On the left side are all of the educator resources that we have, which includes some wellness activities, an assessment to understand what areas of growth as a building there are. And then we do have leadership courses that support the implementation of a program. And then on the right side are all the student activities. And so one thing that's I think important to understand about our lessons are they are not videos or students are not on screens. They are all adult facing, educator facing, so that we're both building the skills of teachers and we're keeping kids off screens, because what we know is that students are disconnected from themselves and from each other. And we're really trying to create cultures where everybody feels seen, heard, and valued, because research shows that behaviors reduce when people have a sense of belonging somewhere. So I'm going to share a few lessons with you that you can hopefully take and share with your colleagues. We have grade banded lessons. There's 80 of them for each grade band. I'm going to just dip into the 6-8. And the first thing I want to show you is a really simple strategy for building a sense of community in a classroom. And so we have this community circles module. And there's a little overview, little education for the teacher. But what I want to show you, oops, that's not it. I want to show you. Here we go. What we've developed, and this came out of an ask from one of our partners. Many of our partners have 10 minutes at the beginning of a school day where kids are getting settled and they go through a morning meeting and they just get sort of acclimated for the day. And we have taken that current structure and turned it into just an activity to build community. And when you think of the reasons that kids have behaviors, this is a way to connect. This is a way, so kids either need connection, containment, or control. That's what they're seeking when they have behaviors. And this activity allows for connection, and the control part of what they're seeking is more along the lines of wanting some voice and choice. And so this allows students very quickly to choose one of the prompts and to share. And so the win for this is that kids get to learn about each other and say, oh yeah, me too, and build some connection and some relationship. And teachers get to learn about their students outside of the academics, right? And we start building healthy, solid relationships. And so this simple practice of starting the day or maybe it's after lunch. You have a short 10-minute community circle where there's choice and where there's an opportunity to learn more about each other. And if you notice the ones that I'm showing you down at the bottom, they are taken directly, these prompts are taken directly from some of our lessons that are more detailed. So for example, if this one creates a lot of engaged conversation, you know that you can go to the lesson called Value Map and go deeper into this type of content. So the other reason that this activity or this concept is beneficial is because it fits into the framework of PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Intervention Systems. And it also fits into the framework and the structure of restorative circles or community circles. And so if those types of things are already in practice, it's not an add-on. It just fits right in to your day. Okay, so the second thing I want to show you, right here lives our tier 2 lessons. I mean, our tier 1 lessons, our core lessons, there's 80 of them. I'm going to show you another lesson. And this one is in service of a high leverage. We have some high leverage lessons that are designed for the whole class, and they are kind of the foundation in which the class culture is set. So this one's called Creating a Class Contract. This would be a one and done. Do it once at the beginning of the school year, or maybe return to it when things are needing a little reminder. But I want to talk you through some important parts about the way we design programming. This front part of the lesson is really for the teacher, so that they understand the payoff of this lesson, of why this is important. We give a tip on how to personalize the lesson, and then something that is in support of the class culture. So, beginning of the year, some simple questions on charts. What do you hope for yourself this school year? What would a positive year be for you? What does it look like, feel like, and sound like for you to be supported? What things will make it hard for you to show up and contribute to our class community? And what do you need to dig in and be engaged in this class? And so again, we're allowing kids to have a sense of containment because we're building a psychologically safe space. We're allowing for voice and choice and offering some control and choice in how this class community functions. And so students have time then to walk around and add their comments, either on Post-its or on the charts. And then in this activity, you give the small groups of children each a poster, and they read through all the responses, and their job is to come up with what do my classmates need? And it becomes the agreement. So this is what everybody says. This is what everybody needs. How do we create some norms and agreements in our classroom for everyone to feel like they can have a successful school year, feel supported, and feel part of our community? So whether it's this exact lesson and these exact prompts, this is support, but you can also just take this idea and build it into the way you start a school year or after a holiday winter break or a fall break, do that. Okay, so I'm going to show another one. I'm going to share another lesson that is called a week of kindness. And this is one that could be done as a whole school community. It could be done just as a class, but it's an ongoing, right? This is a week of kindness, but it could be a practice that you keep in place for the whole year. We know that when students have an opportunity to practice kindness, it reduces the the opposite, which is bullying or not being kind. And so it's almost like a foundation builder for when we have to address bullying issues. So this is really a call to action. And the the week of kindness is generated by students. And so again, you have students list the things that have been done to them that feel kind and how that feels. And then you choose some of the ideas that are simple that come from students and ask all students to make a plan to pass along that act of kindness. And this nudges them to think about who they could do this for, where they're going to do it, how often are they going to do it. It could be as simple as saying hello to someone they don't know when they're walking to class. It could be giving an authentic compliment. And the idea is that as a school, you're changing the culture. There's a shared strategy, there's a shared commitment of how we show up. And then you allow students to make a plan for the whole week. It can be everyone as a class agrees to one thing, or every student gets to build their own plan. So again, there's a real focus on students having choice and getting to personalize this and build autonomy in the action versus a control and compliance kind of lesson. Okay, I'm going to show you another one called growth journaling. So the payoff, being grateful for personal life progress allows for intentional time to reflect on successes and improvements made. Focusing on growth and change increases well-being by fostering a sense of gratitude. What we know is that there's power in the collective growth. So when students, I think especially in these high stake times of academic success, it's easy to forget how far we've come. And students, especially, there's more pressure to succeed. And so this can be an ongoing activity. You could dip into this once a month, and really building this as a way where students can embrace this practice individually. And so you ask students to think about themselves as they started the school year or last week, and what was hard or uncomfortable. And they share a personal example that shows, or you share a personal example, so that they understand the context of this. And then simply give them a prompt. At the beginning of seventh grade, I was nervous about meeting new friends. Now I have practiced inviting people to study with me. I used to feel super anxious about getting to class on time. Now I'm able to calm myself by using the belly breathing technique that we learned. Also, I'm never late. And so this becomes like a permission to pause and celebrate, permission to verbalize the things that they have acquired and added to their toolbox. Um, the other thing I want to show you is that many of our lessons have Google Slides to support a teacher. This supports visual learners, students who are not just, who struggle with just verbal directions. And you can see that it supports a teacher who is not yet comfortable with this kind of facilitation. So this lesson, easy, could be integrated into a writing core time. It could be a reflection at the end of the day. I think the beauty of some of these lessons is you don't need special time. You don't need to find more time in your day. You just need to, what we found is that teachers just need some ideas on how to integrate this. uh, rather than feeling like it's one more thing on their plate. Show you another one. By the way, any of these that resonate with you or you'd like to share with your school, we are happy to share. So this is personal pyramid. And as this is really in service of students, again, building some empowerment, some resilience, some confidence, really getting to know and hone in on who you are and what you're successful at. And so this can be done in just on a simple piece of paper, again, in their journal, if you choose to have journals. Um, but they're going to build themselves a pyramid. And they're going to have 6 sections in their pyramid. There's nothing magic about these sections. So again, just take the concept and tailor it to yourself. But here are some things to prompt them with. What do I do well? So in the first section of the pyramid, let them doodle, draw, write what they do well. What are some things I know that are important or that are unique? How do I see myself in my peer group, my community, or the society at large? Self-image, how I see myself, things I say to myself, traits, my strengths and weaknesses, and motive, the things that are most important to me. And so this can be a discussion either with a partner, it could be brought to the community circle idea, and the prompt can simply be which of these areas can you most easily change? Maybe which area are you most proud of? Which area has an opportunity for you to grow. Um, and then again, I would say that the one of the differences in the way we have built our program is students don't always need to share in a big group. Right? Our goal is to give students tools and strategies to be successful, not just inside the 4 walls of their classroom, but outside. So when they leave as graduating adults, ready for post-secondary, they have this massive toolbox that they can use to help navigate the complexities of life outside of school. So these are really built to give them a sense of empowerment and to give them autonomy in the choices they make, and an awareness of what's healthy, what's not healthy, and some tools to regulate themselves. All right, I'm going to show you one that has to do with problem solving. It's called What I Need. So one of the times that we tend to see behavior outbursts for certain students is when there's something that comes unexpected. If you think about students needing a sense of safety, psychological safety, or students who are overstimulated and are used to a structure, the disruptions in life, the uncertainty can really cause some behaviors. And so the payoff of this is disruptions in daily life and extended periods of isolation can have a negative impact on children and how they feel about themselves. Collective trauma can influence attitudes, beliefs, and how we view ourselves and others. Both can interrupt learning and engagement. And so this one, it can be facilitated in a whole group. It can be facilitated in a small group, or it could be a partner brainstorm with a focus on all the difficult, scary, traumatic events happening around us that bring excessive worry and anxiety. stress around exams, uncertainty with some things that are happening in our world at large. And so the journal prompts are ask students to think about how others can be a part of easing these big feelings. So what do I need in words or actions from my family right now that would be most helpful? They get to journal. They get to really think about that and put it into words. What do I need from my friends right now that would be most helpful? What do I need from others, teachers, neighbors that would be most helpful? And what can I do for myself that would be most helpful during these hard times? So as we know, kids come to school with a backpack full of worry, stress, overwhelm from things that are happening in their families. Uh, the stress comes with them. And this is an invitation to just pause and reflect on that and get clear on how can I help myself in this and how can I practice leaning into the support around me. You'll see in step 3 that we often allow time for some drawing or some process. When the heavier the lesson, the heavier the context, the more often you'll see time for them to draw. Maybe we integrate some music. We really lean into multiple modalities of processing, so that kids are not just in their cognitive part of their brain, but they're in the front lobal, so that it doesn't feel like too much for them. Okay. I'm going to show you one called Let's Get Grounded. The payoff. Students will experience anxiety, be triggered, and find focusing outside of their body difficult at times during class. We've all seen that, right? The disengagement, the overstimulation because there's things going on in their body. Having strategies to tap into allows them to be in control of getting grounded on their own without needing help. And I think this is an important thing. Rather than us being the one that always supports them, we want to give them some tools where they can they can be aware of the big feeling and they can regulate on their own. And so there are many very simple mindfulness activities that can be done. Again, you don't need a special SEL time. You just need an awareness and a practice opportunity for students. Maybe it's before a big exam. You do this as a whole class, and then you invite them to, own this and do it whenever they need. So, body scan meditation can promote body awareness, stress awareness, and relaxation. So the more you practice this and kind of normalize this in a classroom, the more students can add that to their toolbox. So it's simple. You just ask kids to get comfortable, invite them to take some long, slow, deep breaths, breathing out, breathing in, breathe through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. They get to choose. Feel your stomach. And then the guidance, the facilitation is the teachers. Begin to let go of noises around you. Begin to shift your attention from outside to inside yourself. If you're distracted by sounds in the room, simply notice this and bring your focus back. Now focus on your feet. Begin observing the senses in your feet. You can see that this is helping them navigate getting out of their head, right? And getting out of the big feeling in their stomach or in their throat. Bring an awareness to your feet. You might want to wiggle your toes. And all the while they're breathing in and breathing out, and they're learning about self-regulation. So cueing them slowly and continuing the practice through each part of their body, gradually moving from the feet all the way to the head, by the time they have experienced this calm, right? And this is something that you can ask them to do in a chair. You can ask them to do laying down. In the chair, they've learned that they can do this on their own. And then some of your students might just need to have you say, I can notice, I can see that you're agitated. Why don't you take a minute and try the let's get grounded activity? Problems and plans. So the payoff of this type of activity, research shows it's effective to provide clear expectations for behavior, teach the skills needed to succeed in the school environment, and respond to problems with strategies to strengthen connection and relationships rather than push students away. Allowing students to process their own plan to make things better sends the message that you believe in their abilities. And so if we go back to what students are seeking, connection, containment, and control, this lesson is built on the idea that we stay connected in relationship with our student and they know that we believe in them. This lesson supports containment in helping them build a strategy when they're feeling overstimulated or over anxious, and their behavior, the choice they make with those feelings, is not meeting the expectations. And this lesson meets the control where they have some voice and choice in how they're going to move forward differently. So this is a strategy to be used after the incident, not when the student is aggravated or activated, not in the moment of all the emotion. So you use this process at a time when the student is not in the middle of the feeling of shame, guilt, anger, frustration, hurt, and you redirect and begin the conversation after the emotions have settled. So it's a circle back, right? Like, hey, I noticed you had a really hard time. Can we talk about what just happened? And I would recommend that it's a one-on-one because a one-on-one builds relationship. And so here's the guiding questions. And several of our partners have used these guiding questions, and they've put them on the wall in the back of the room where there's a calm chair, right? And students can go and process on their own after you've modeled this with them. So what were you feeling, thinking before that happened? What were you feeling and thinking when it happened? What are you thinking and feeling after it happened? Whom do you think has been affected by your actions? How have they been affected? And what do you think you need to make things right? Right? We're believing that students can recognize this. We are giving them choice in how to make things right, in how to reflect on the impact of that behavior. And if they need guidance, of course, we can step in and help them, give them some choices of some ways. And so this again is an ongoing, staying connected, relationship building way of dealing with a behavior. It allows students who don't know how to reflect and repair yet, how to think about it in terms of how did my actions affect someone or something, and what can I do to make it right? It's a skill that we all need as adults, right? So if we start doing this type of behavior or this type of strategy with students, frankly, even in kindergarten, by the time they are, successfully functioning in a job, they know how to do this. They know how to keep relationships intact and to be accountable for their behaviors when they're not on their best behavior. And then I'm going to just show you. Do I have time for one more?
Sure, yeah, why not? I think everybody's enjoying it. Why not?
Okay. Three brags and a wish can be an ongoing, once a month, once a week, turn to your partner. It can be used in all different ways. According to the Mayo Clinic, the benefits of having a healthy self-esteem include being assertive in expressing your needs and opinions, being confident in making decisions, able to form secure and honest relationships, and being realistic in your expectations and less likely to be overly critical of yourself. This can be a self-talk strategy that students can personalize anywhere they are. Students are able to remove their guard more freely when giving and getting positive comments from each other, and that can become a norm. So this says journaling, it could be a community circle, it could be a quick turn to your partner. Again, ongoing. So have students come up with 3 things they do well. I'm responsible for finishing my homework. I help out at home with my siblings when my parents are working. I make my friends laugh. And then next, ask them to list one wish, something they want to work on and get better at. And it's a goal, right? And then lastly, you ask them to think about one way they will know they are getting better. So like to visualize success. What would it look like if I was successful at my wish? So they can picture themselves doing this. And there's always an extension. So set the tone of kindness by using this strategy in a whole class setting. Randomly choose a student and have classmates give 3 brags specific to a student. And then the student finishes with their wish. Hearing others speak positively about you is an esteem booster. So 2 different ways you can use this. And again, this lesson comes with diverse learner slides. So honoring students that need different modalities of learning. There's audio support. Visual support. And then there's an extension which has some sort of a movement. And see different activities to extend. Okay, I do want to show you one other thing that's here just briefly. We have 15 asynchronous lessons designed for students who are not yet able to always remain in a classroom. So think about in school suspension or ones that are always asked to sit away, right? Instead of just having students, this is for secondary students, so grades 6 through 12. These lessons focus specifically on self-awareness and self-regulation, and they are designed to take a student through on a device through an audio supported reflection and move to action. So the student simply scans the QR code with their device or their phone, and it gives them a step-by-step. No teacher needed. The purpose is to, if you've been removed or if you're missing a lot of school, there's truancy issues. Often truancy issues go hand in hand with behavior issues. There are things that students can do independently in a private setting to reflect on why things happened, give them tools to, I think, be more successful in a classroom setting. So that was a lot of activities, and I went over my time, but I could keep going, but I won't. So if any of those you'd like a copy of, we'd be happy to get them to you.
Thank you so much, Pam, for that detailed session. I think those were some amazing strategies that you shared, and I read in the chat as well some of uh, the social emotional experts and consultants that have joined us today. They're also talking about those strategies as well. That's great feedback. And whoever, as Pam mentioned, whoever needs copies of these strategies, please get in touch with Rakesh. He has put his name details, phone number in the chat. Get in touch with him, and he will make sure that that reaches you uh, immediately. All right. Uh, and thank you so much, Pam, for doing this. I think everybody appreciates that. And just for everybody who is here, if you're if you work with a K-12 school, early years, preschool, you're a principal, you're a school owner, you're an educator, what Pam has developed is a Better Together Cube tool, which is not just the curriculum, not just the ideas or activities that you can do, a overall system that can be implemented within the K-12 setting. Even even now for the pre-K, right?
Yeah,
We
I
have
forgot to
added,
mention that we do have a pretty robust pre-K set of lessons as well.
right, and that's something there, and it's a complete system. It's not just the curriculum and the activities that you can do in the classroom. It's a collection of them. So what we really talk about is a comprehensive offering to create that positive culture within that school context. So we have on one hand the student core curriculum, we have the educator wellness module, and we have the parent or family caregiver portal as well. And then we do provide comprehensive implementation support too. So if you're interested, you like what Pam shared with you, and if you're interested to implement a tool like this, a solution like this, a system like this at your school, please feel free to connect with Rakesh and ask for more. We can definitely connect one is to one and discuss about how this can be done in your school. What do we offer? We offer 80 plus digital lessons for that's the student core curriculum for students, for teachers to use in the classroom setting. These are 80 plus lessons for 4 different age groups, as you saw when Pam was showcasing curriculum itself: K to 2, 2 to 6, 2 to 5, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and 9 to 12. Um, Facilitation slides, assessment, data reporting, all of those are included. We do have an educator wellness modules also. We have 10 plus on-demand modules for educator wellness, wellness assessment, data tracking, and a robust professional development support that we provide to your entire staff. Of course, the family caregiver element, which is one of the key elements we want inclusivity. Everybody should be included that are involved in the child's life. So we have 5 content-aligned modules that we have developed, and home conversation starters, and overall an adult wellness resource for them to tap into. And this is very well aligned with the student core curriculum that you are going to use in the classroom. So for that specific age group. What we, like I said, it's a system. It's not just a curriculum or just a digital platform. We provide teacher professional development services along with it. When you choose to implement this system in your school, we would provide 1 day face-to-face in your school professional development service at the start of the academic year, 1 day blended face-to-face with the virtual instructor from the US in the middle of the academic year, and finally towards the end of the academic year, another session which is blended, uh, where you would have a facilitator join in physically and an instructor who would join in virtually from the US directly. We do also provide leadership professional development, that is 1 day face-to-face at the start of implementation journey or academic year, and then 1 hour every month for 7 months, we would connect virtually, and we would look at the progress and the challenges that you're facing, and we would provide professional development support. Your end of the year audit visits are done to your school to understand the implementation challenges that you have faced and provide review and recommendation of how you can do better. End of the third year, we provide school certification as well as an SCL Excellence School. This is based on the continuous audit results of over those 3 years. And then we also provide teacher certification for SCL certified teacher at the end of the third year based on school certification. So this is a small snapshot of what Better Together Cube does. Uh, if you're interested, if you're wanting to have a consultation session, would be happy to connect with you. If you want to implement in your school this solution, um, please connect with Rakesh. He has shared his contact details in the chat. Would love to have a chat with you and understand how, when can we start. And now is the time, right? We are looking at the new academic year in the month of April starting. So whoever is interested, please let us know. We will get in touch with you. We obviously have the numbers of people who have contacted from our team, Rakesh, Riddhima, whoever you have spoken to, Malubika. Um, please stay in touch with them, send your request. We can definitely have a one-to-one chat, discuss how this can be implemented and help you in your school context. If you want to know more, uh, feel free to contact us. Thank you so much. Thank you for sparing time this late evening. I know it was a hectic and long day for all of you educators and edupreneurs that have joined in today. Um, thank you for being part of this and making this a huge success. A great learning session for everyone. Thank you so much, Pam, for giving us all of the tips and tricks and the
It
activities
was
that, yeah,
it was my pleasure. It's so exciting to see the interest and the excitement in India. It really is. I can't wait to see what happens for your students and families.
of course. And we'll keep you updated on what is the feedback and how people responded to it. So please stay tuned with us, and we will surely do this again in the new year for sure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you again soon.
Good evening, everyone.